right, so moving on to question number 2. I am an INFP and a bit of a hoarder. I read a post recently where the person said that hoarding originates in trauma and reflects how a person does not trust they will have what they need in life and then when they need it. I suppose that is true for me, as my past experience has taught me to prepare for the worst. I do want to let go of these items because I never look at them, but just thinking about it makes me nervous. I hear you so much. Growing up in constant fear of the other shoe to drop, so you're constantly waiting for something to go wrong, is a very, very difficult and traumatizing way to live. And if that was your childhood experience, then I want to commend you for having been able to come to this point where you can recognize this, and where you can, where you've had enough you've been able to reflect on this painful subject enough to be able to even ask this question. So thank you for that, and well done. When it comes to hoarding, when it comes to any kind of displaced behavior, those behaviors often originate from our inner children. So as an INFP, your inner children are inward-facing sensing as your 10-year-old, or the historian, what we call the historian, and outward-facing thinking, or what we call the executive. If you're not sure about what I'm talking about, then please refer back to the learning units in this group and go into the roundtable model section. You will find out there what I'm talking about. So, apologies, I got a little bit emotional there, so I'm just gonna have to dapple my nose a little bit. So, when, as an INFP, my question to you is, which one of your inner children do you feel or think has this sense of doom? Is it the historian or is it the executive? Now, it's actually possible that it's both, because the historian, what the historian's job really is to look back at what happened in the past in order to prepare yourself for the future. So in a way, you could probably see, hey, you know what? This could just be my historian having a really hard time and wanting to be prepared for the future. And then your executive, which is the decision-making part of your inner children, may then make a decision to say, hey, the best way for us, the most effective way for us to be prepared for the future is in fact to make sure that anything that we needed in the past, that we'll have it in store in case we need it in the future. So I can very easily see this being just your inner children, this hoarding to be your inner children making decisions about your grown-up life, where it becomes a lifestyle where you hoard things, and it might affect, how you live and what kind of environment you live in, and feeling cluttered and so on. So what is needed really here, maybe, so if this resonates with you, is for your inner parent and your adult self to actually decide to look forward and say, hey, we're safe, and then make sure that to relay that we're safe message to the inner children as well. So what this seems to me like is that it's a bit of a disconnect between your inner children and the grown-up parts of you. So I'd like to ask you to go to the learning units and look at the role of the historian, and look at the role of the executive, and then look at if anything there really resonates with you in relation to the hoarding. And if it does, then that's great. We can start unfolding that. And if it doesn't, then please come back to me and just say, hey, I don't think that's it. Could it be something else? But that's where I would start with if I were working with you as an INFP. That's where I would start. So don't try to tackle this by just getting rid of stuff until you actually start having those conversations with your inner children, because it can be extremely traumatizing for your inner children to take that safety net away from them too quickly. So have some patience with yourself, have some grace with yourself, and just teach those inner children that they are safe right now, and start looking at what resources you could maybe replace the stuff that you have with. So for example, if you're holding on to stuff because you might get sick and you need to be able to look after yourself, then maybe look at, okay, can I put maybe some, $100 or $1,000 aside in case I get sick, so that I can deal with this, rather than hold on to all this stuff that I may never use, that I'm there holding on to keep me safe. So start with that, I would say, and then take it from there.